Hello everybody, my name is Aceface. Today we're going to be trying some Solo T3 Abyss in the Confessor. Now, I've kind of been thinking to myself a little bit about the Abyss, getting my little abyssal thoughts. Like from time to time in my everyday life, I think a little bit about different and interesting things that I could do in the Abyss, and maybe, new potential ideas. And one thing that I was just a bit bothered by is that I feel like it's hard to get a good Solo T3 Abyss fit for the destroyers, because it is quite easy to get a Solo T2 Abyss fit with frigates, but then I thought, okay, it should be natural that you should be able to find at least a Solo T3 Abyss then with destroyers, but it's pretty damn hard. I've mentioned this before if you have seen my previous videos about the Abyss, that one of the main things that makes it difficult to use the destroyers in the Abyss is that they're pretty slow, but they don't have the tank face tank, and they don't have the speed to speed tank. The main thing is that they have a lot of DPS, which is obviously good in the Abyss, but their survivability is not the best. So that often is the main issue I have with getting a destroyer to do the Abyss. This is the pulse laser fit that I used a long time ago, and it was one of the only Confessor fits I got to be able to do Solo T3 Abyss, and that could have just been to chance, with the spawns could have been good. A lot of variables that are required to get a good and reliable fit in the Abyss. But I made my fit a little bit different than it was before. So before I had a tracking computer here. Now I've put 2 cat batteries, and the reason is because I was rewatching my footage and I noticed that the main issue I had with this as a solo ship was that I had a bit of capacitor problems. So this has both more capacitor per second in the electrical abyss, and also we've got 2 cat batteries, which will give us very potent neutralizer resistances. So that'll be very good. We also have pretty decent DPS with the sharpshooter not active. We don't have so good, but when they're active we have pretty decent DPS. The main thing I worry about is that I'm going to have problems with tank, and the way I could see that the tactical destroyers would be good in the Abyss is that they'll be very good in duos, because you have 2 utility highs here, so you could potentially put 2 remote armor repairs, and that will, generally speaking, they use quite little capacitor, and they seem to be utilizing more slots, so you could put more capacitor modules right here. So I think that would be a lot more viable. So I'm not promising this, but potentially in the future I'll maybe get an alt trained up to some tactical destroyer skill, and I'll try dual boxing, or using 2 characters at once to be able to get through maybe T4 Abyss or something like that. But here it's going to be focusing on T3 Abyss. So far I've been able to get a destroyer to Solo T3 Abyss properly. That seemed to be pretty not really reliable, but it seemed to do it pretty well, and that was a Droga. But the problem is that Droga is so damn expensive. It's really expensive. It costs like half a bill, fluctuates here and there, but about half a bill just for the hull itself. This is a lot cheaper setup, and we're using quite a lot of bling, but it's still pretty cheap. I think it's under 200 mil we've got right here, including the ship. I'm not using any implants. As I told you guys before, one of the big issues with the destroyers is tank. So we've got mainly tank items and only 1 damage item, and even then we have pretty decent DPS. So hopefully we'll get through this T3 Abyss. We'll see how it'll do. Okay, let's see what we've got here. We'll do a bit of a propulsion mode just to get close to these guys, and then we'll switch over to sharpshooter when we get in range. We go really fast, sonic speed, supersonic. Let's see, and what is our range without sharpshooter? Oh, it's really bad range with without the sharpshooter. What is conflag range without sharpshooter? Ooh, that's horrible range right there. Okay, the watchman is pretty annoying, but the one that we want to mainly take out is this null charge guy over here, because he is going to newt us, and we do not want that to happen. So we'll start the auto-targeting just to make stuff go a little bit quicker there. And we'll orbit this guy maybe at 10 kilometers. And I think we should be able to face tank these guys, shouldn't be any issue. And we're just going to, as time goes on, we're going to do better and better and better. Because first off, our reactive armor hardener is going to do better and better. And then also, as time goes on, we'll kill more NPCs, and we'll obviously be able to be tanking more there as well. So I think we're orbiting too far right here. We need to orbit a bit closer. Maybe we can even orbit at 500, to be honest. Okay, or 5,000. I think it will be a lot better, because it seemed like we're at the edge of fall off there. Also losing a lot of potential DPS on the table right there. But I think it will be really interesting to find a ship that can solo T3 Abyss as a destroyer. I just think it will be so cool to be able to find one, because it just seems to me that it's like almost an impossibility, and I just don't understand why. I feel like it feels natural. Like I can easily get a Retribution to solo the T2 Abyss. I should be able to get a Destroyer to solo T3 Abyss, but no, it's a lot more challenging than it seems. At first I thought it would be very easy, but it is pretty difficult. And the thing is, I'm using a lot of bling here, so I'm using the A-type small armor repairs. These are quite cheap, so even though it might seem scary, like, ooh, A-type, but they actually are quite cheap. Like 15, 20 million, something like that. It depends. The Dead Space items, they fluctuate in price a lot. The Retribution that solos T2 Abyss, it has like just T2 fit stuff. Very, very basic. Very, very basic. So it's like a super basic fit. And this is where we're almost pushing this ship here to the limit to be able to solo the T3 Abyss. So both, it has a lot to do with it. The Destroyer has a hard time of, you know, avoiding damage due to lack of speed, but also because we're going up a tier, so it's obviously going to be a bit more difficult stuff. So that's why I have to focus a lot on tank here, because the Retribution I have has, I think it has the same amount of low slots, but it has 2 heat sinks, and even then it can do the T2 fine, and it's a frigate. You know, this is a Destroyer, and it still will, it really has to push its tank to the limit. The Retribution only has Tech 2 reppers. It's really has to do a lot to be able to get its tank to substantial levels. But I'm pretty glad what tank has been doing so far. Let's just minimize some of these menus, because it doesn't look nice to have all these menus all over the place. Now this guy is wanting to kite me somehow. I don't know why how he's able to get away from me. He's at 500. Oh, he's at 500, I think. Yeah, he's at 500. That's why. So if we use Scorch right here, this should be what will hit him pretty good. This Scorch right here, this is definitely what we'll be using when it comes to the Rogue Drum battlecruisers, because I don't think there's any way we'll be able to face tank those guys at close range. So it's really difficult. Even like the Alpha will be just too big, to be honest. They'll just be a massive Alpha. Okay, let's go to the next room. We need to go to propulsion mode because it'll take a long time traveling between these to this transfer corner right here. We've already gone 5 minutes. Ideally, I'd like to be under 5 minutes while doing this. The Confessor is putting everything to like the central main body, like squeezing, folding itself together to form almost like a bullet. Like nothing's sticking out. It's just going really fast now. But still, when it's quote-unquote really fast, it's not particularly fast. Like, it's doing the same speed as Aguila in propulsion mode, and Aguila is not a fast ship. It's a pretty slow ship, and it's still the same speed as an Afterburner. I would hope to have a little bit better speed, but I mean, it is a compact Afterburner. They're pretty crappy. They're not the best ones. You can come by, obviously, better ones with the blinged out ones. One of the fitting limitations here was a power grid. I could just fit it with 2 of these Thukker small cat batteries. Otherwise, yeah, it was pretty problematic to be able to get a good, sustainable power grid right here. But I think the Capacitor will do so good here, because I was having really big problems, even with just a simple one single Newting cruiser before. But this is like almost the level of what my Aguila gets, and we have 2 cat batteries, so we should do pretty good right here. Pretty good right here indeed. Let's see, what should we take out first? Probably I would want to take out the Fire Watchers first. They're going to be a bit annoying with their newts. I mean, I was just telling you now that newts shouldn't be too bad, but I want to just take them out just to be sure. You know, I don't want them to keep withering away at the newts. And also, a good thing about taking out these guys is that they will have, like, they'll die quickly, so we'll be able to get DPS off the field quicker. There we go. We'll take the, oh, we're taking a big damage there. Let's go for this guy here, the Fire Watcher. We may have to switch to defensive mode here because we're taking a lot of damage. Oh yeah, let's switch to defensive mode because this is getting a little crazy right now. We're going to have to switch to Scorch. Oh, Imperial Navy I think will be better. Imperial Navy, and we'll just approach these guys. Approach him, approach him, approach him. One thing to note though, that this is a best case scenario when it comes to tank, because we do have the minus 30% EM resistance, and I thought this was something you got more here in the T2 Abyss, the T3 Abyss. I mean, I thought that I didn't know you could get minus 30%. I thought it was only either minus 30 or 50 or minus 70 in the T3 Abyss, but apparently you can get at minus 30% resistance here as well. Okay, wreck these guys. Look at that, tanking like pretty well here. We're going to go back to sharpshooter because it seems like we're tanking pretty good now, and we want to get a little bit extra DPS, of course. There we go. Wreck these guys. The thing is with multi-frequency is you get a bit of a better tracking, and it has, I think, a tiny bit better range than Conflag. So I would rather use this if there's small stuff orbiting me like this. Maybe the Conflag though would be better because we have pretty good tracking anyway with the pulse lasers. So I don't think it should be too bad. So that was very nice, you know. When the DPS is a little bit too hot, just switch to defensive mode. It seems like a bit like almost like assault damage control, I could say, where for a little bit amount of time you have to use a module or temporarily, and then you just get over that initial hurdle, kill enough NPCs, and then you'll have enough DPS on the field that you can take. Oh, this guy's going down pretty fast. Look, he's already half armor. The armor is the main component, it seems like, on these lucid guys. It looks pretty good right here. And then this is the Sentinel. He's going to have to be taken out soon after this guy. We'll use Scorch here because it seems like he's kiting. Or maybe he'll go closely, because I've noticed that neuting ships in the Abyss, they tend to want to go close. For example, with the Triglavians. If you notice this, with the Leshaks, the starving Leshaks, the guys who have newts, they actually try to orbit you pretty closely. They try to approach you, or almost approach you, like orbit you closely, while stuff like the blinding Leshaks, they try to kite you because they want to sensor dampen you, so they want to stay away so you can't take them out and they want to keep your targeting range at bay. Oh, we're even going in range for Conflag now. So I think this guy is trying to get closer. There we go. Take him out now. Oh yeah, we get a lot more DPS with this Conflag. 400 DPS, pretty decent DPS right now. We'll go to the transfer conduit and get out of here. The waves that I'm most interested in seeing how it does, and that I'm most worried about, one, the Sancha waves. The Sancha guys, it's going to be hard for me to kite them. I can't really kite them, and also I can do a ton of DPS. Another one is the Angel wave, but then again, I feel like the Angel wave, I'll take them out pretty quickly because since they like to orbit me really close, I'll be able to probably kill at least the Dremiels pretty quick, and then there'll probably not be enough DPS on the field for them to kill me. I think it'll go pretty good in the Angel waves, but the Sancha waves are one of the ones I dread the most. Potentially also the Triglavian waves, but I think the Triglavian waves should do alright because they like to get pretty close. Maybe possibly the Vedmax, because the Vedmax I think like to orbit a little bit further than 9 kilometers, which is the fall-off range of this Conflag right here. So I have a feeling I maybe won't be able to use Conflag on the Vedmax, and that could be problematic because the Vedmax do basically almost all the DPS in the Triglavian waves. Well, we'll see here. I guess we'll see here a good demonstration if it turns out well. That was the good timing. Okay, let's see now. What have we got here? Probably I want to take out these Damas first. The Damas are going to approach me very fast, so we can take them out. The thing is, just I'm worried that this Vedmak is going to spool up to crazy amounts of DPS very quickly. Okay, let's get a Conflag now and approach this guy. There we go. I'll wreck this stupid little Dama over here. And we get a lot of extra targets because we got this auto-targeting system. That's one really good thing about putting auto-targeting systems on your ship. You get extra amount of max, like locked targets. It's just an item that hardly... Oh my god. You get a larger max amount of max locked targets, and you can lock up more things for basically no CPU. Because it uses only one CPU, I think. What are these Damas kiting me? I've never seen Damas do this before. What are they doing? What are they doing? It's moving around like this. What the heck are they doing? There's a weird AI that's going on right now. I think that was a wrecking shot maybe that happened or something. I think maybe I should go for this Vedmak over here, to be honest. Okay, let's go for sharpshooter then, because they're not shooting me for some reason. I don't know what they're doing. They're flying around really weirdly. So the Vedmak seems to want to stay at 15 kilometers, which is optimal for our Scorch. But it is not optimal for Scorch when I've got the defensive mode active, so that's a bit problematic. I want to take him out as soon as possible, because if he's dead, then there'll be no issue with anything. Everything will be good if he's been taken out. We'll see here, we'll see here. How will this go? Okay, you see that? Big hits now, big hits. Is there some kind of tachyon cloud or something going on? I don't know, like, it's really strange. They're flying all over the place. Like, they're not... I'm just so used to the Damaviks coming and orbiting me at 500, but these guys, they don't seem to be wanting to do that for some reason. They seem to be trying to just orbit this Vedmak over here. weird Triglavian AI I'm encountering here in the Abyss that I'm not used to seeing. Let's approach this Vedmak over here. Who does he think he is? This silly Vedmak. Just spooling up. Oh, it's not really silly, actually. He's pretty smart, to be honest. Sitting there, spooling up to crazy DPS levels. Well, he's missing, though. He's getting a lot of grazing shots, so that's good. I would have thought he would have hit me a lot better because I am a destroyer. I'm pretty fat. I guess, you know. Oh, look at that hit right there. That was a massive hit. He's soon dead, though. He's soon dead, though. Oh, we're going to have to go in defensive mode for a bit. Defensive mode for a bit because this is getting a bit spicy. And we can't hit anything. Oh my god, this is so stupid. I can go sharpshooter mode now that we've got the armor back up. Oh, this is really annoying with this range. I had a tracking computer before instead of that cam battery. I'm thinking now maybe even that tracking computer would be very good to have because like, he is really keeping his range so good, this Vedmak. And he could just get a wrecking shot here and I'd pop straight away. He's soon dead though. He's soon dead though. Just a few more shots. There we go. Okay, now what these Triglavians is going to do? What are they just... why are they not approaching me and swarming me? I don't get it. I really don't get it. Look, now they are. Maybe what they were doing is that they were just all trying to remote repair the Vedmak for some reason. Like they think that the Vedmak's the boss or something, so they have to remote repair him as much as possible. So that's why they're going around him. I don't know. It's really strange. I've never really encountered them doing that. I'm not used to them doing that. Because they're just usually Damavix, they've got pretty short range. You could see that they're orbiting that Vedmak remote repairing him. They weren't giving him any, they weren't doing any damage. They were just like keeping me locked up all the time, but not doing any damage. This, I think that this is very likely I would have died here if this was one of those T3 waves, because in certain T3 waves you can get 3 Vedmaks, and that I feel like I would have died. You saw how I was struggling to kill that one Vedmak right there. If there were 3 of them, I would have been toast a long time ago. Just one of them was giving me problems like that, but the 3 of them, oh my god. The really good way would be if I was able to kite them. If I had an MWD that could keep a range, it's very easy to kite Vedmaks, but I don't think I would be able to though, because the Confessor is pretty slow even with the propulsion mode. So I feel like I will probably, let's see, does it give a speed boost? Yeah. So if we put a, how fast do we go if we put an MWD on without, yeah, 2,000 meters a second? Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, so we will be able to kite the Vedmak, in fact, if we do have an MWD. I worry about Capacitor though, but we would be able to kite it. And also I worry about my range. I don't have the range. So possibility would be with beam lasers, but beam lasers will have big problems hitting the enemy ships at close range. Really big problems. Beam lasers, and even on small ships, they have pretty bad tracking for some reason. I don't know why. They just do. But there we go. Another T3 Abyss done in the Confessor. As I suspected, as I predicted beforehand, I was saying that, okay, the Triglavian is probably going to be very tough, especially the Vedmaks. That's exactly what I find here. I wouldn't say that this fit is a reliable fit for the T3 Abyss, just because of the fact that there's a potential of getting that wave with 3 Vedmaks. Like, if you can get sometimes these so-called pure Vedmak waves, or as I call them, pure Vedmak waves. So in the T1 Abyss, if you're getting it like what I mean by pure Vedmak wave is a wave with only Vedmaks. So in the T1 you can get 1 Vedmak, in T2 you can get 2 Vedmaks, in the T3 you get 3 Vedmaks, just the way it works. But often you'll have maybe like 1 Vedmaks and one, like in maybe T2 you'd have 1 Vedmak and a few Damavix, or in T3 like we just did now, 1 Vedmak and many Damavix and rogue drones. You know, it gets a little bit mixed up, but you can kind of think of like 1 Vedmak equates to a few Damavix or rogue drones. Anyway, I would have hoped to do better, but you know, now at least I know. I'll think about this for next time. Maybe I'll come back with some tweaks. It would be a lot smoother, I think, if I were to not have an alt doing remote repairing, because then we could probably tank stuff, and also it would be maybe easier that we could put beam lasers, and then even if they're swarming one guy, the other guy with beam lasers could, you know, attack the other guy, and you know, I think it'll be overall just a lot smoother. We'll see. If I can maybe get an alt to just improve the fit in general for next time. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video right here. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys later.